The campus idol jumped into the river, and I was kind enough to save him, but he resented my meddling and pushed my head under the water. In the end, I drowned, and he was successfully rescued. It turned out the campus idol's stunt was just a desperate attempt to win back his ex-girlfriend. My parents were devastated and cried for justice for me. He, in turn, shamelessly accused my parents of being vultures profiting from tragedy. My elderly parents were cyberbullied until, in their despair, they took poison. After my rebirth, I once again encountered the campus idol jumping into the river. This time, I just smirked and watched him struggle in the water. Chapter 01. Oh no, Ethan Blackwood jumped into the river. Sincere, you're a great swimmer. Go save him after being reborn. I found myself watching this familiar scene unfold again. Ethan Blackwood was flailing in the water, his face red from choking. The more he struggled, the faster he sank. There was a large crowd of onlookers, but no one dared to go in after him. The river current was strong, and the light was dim, making a rescue attempt too dangerous. In my past life, I had recklessly dived in to save him, but he had pushed my head under the water. Are you insane? Who asked you to butt in? You love playing the hero so much? Then let's die together. I struggled desperately, trying to find a chance to escape, but Ethan Blackwood clung to me like a water demon. He was determined to take me down with him. It wasn't until a large wave came that we were both on the verge of drowning. My girlfriend, Isabel Turner, threw a rope. Ethan Blackwood used me as a stepping stone to grab the rope and climb back to shore, and I drowned in the freezing river. It turned out Ethan Blackwood never really wanted to die. He was just putting on a self-pity act to win back his ex-girlfriend. Netizens were furious and condemned his actions, but he just frowned, feigning grief. I am heartbroken by Sincere Clark's sacrifice. I never expected something like this to happen. He's gone now. Please, I'm begging everyone, stop the cyberbullying. My parents fainted from crying several times. They posted online demanding justice for me. But Ethan Blackwood paid social media trolls to attack them. Doesn't your conscience hurt using your son's death for clout? How shameless. Does profiting from tragedy taste good? I bet all this viral attention is making you a lot of money, huh? My parents, overwhelmed with grief and anger, took poison, and I could only watch as my family was destroyed. I was filled with hatred, regretting that I had saved such a bad seed. I never thought I would get a chance to be reborn. This time, I just smirked and watched him struggle in the water. Chapter 02. Isabel Turner was still nagging me. Go on, save Ethan Blackwood. She was sweating with anxiety and even gave me a shove. Caught off guard, I almost face-planted. Whose girlfriend are you anyway? If you're so worried about him, you go save him. Isabel's face instantly turned beet red. Ethan Blackwood was the campus idol, the heartthrob she could never have. In my past life, when Ethan and I were both in danger, she threw the life-saving rope to him first. After I died, she even defended him. I believe Ethan didn't mean to kill Sincere. It was Sincere's fate. There was nothing anyone could do. Everyone, please be rational and stop bullying an innocent person. I finally saw her for what she truly was. This time around, Isabel was trying to guilt-trip me again. You're a swimming champion. You've even won the city championship. I'm not as good a swimmer as you. It would be dangerous for me to go in. Damn it, and it wouldn't be dangerous for me? I turned to leave, but Isabel suddenly yelled at me. How can you be so cold-blooded and ruthless? You know how to swim, but you refuse to save a life. The crowd of onlookers all turned to stare at me. Saving a life is the noblest act. Come on, young man, just do a good deed. If he drowns, can you live with that on your conscience? A triumphant smile flickered across Isabel's face. Wow, just brilliant. Rallying the crowd to guilt-trip me, was that the plan? I shouted in exasperation. Fine, I'll save him. I walked toward the river with a look of grim determination. However, the next second, I deliberately took a nasty fall. The rocks are slippery. It's perfectly normal for me to slip, right? My knee is injured. It's perfectly normal that I can't save anyone now, right? Let's see who can force me to save him now. Isabel shot me a venomous glare. You can't do anything right. You're useless with that. She jumped into the river herself to save him. The fool had no idea what danger she was heading into. Sure enough, Ethan Blackwood started cursing. Who the hell are you? I don't need you to save me. You psycho. Who asked you to butt in? He reached out and viciously pushed Isabel's head down. My heart pounded like a drum. It's over. It's over. She's going to die. Chapter 03. Surprisingly, Isabel deftly dodged his attack. She grabbed hold of Ethan Blackwood and dragged him back to the shore. Even after being rescued, Ethan was still fuming. "Who are you? Why did you save me? I don't want to live, just let me die," he roared hysterically like a madman. Isabel, showing no resentment, held him tightly. "Don't give up on life. There are so many people in this world who love you. Even if the whole world abandons you, you still have me." I almost gagged listening to this. What kind of cheesy romantic drama were they acting out? Ethan coughed violently and passed out. Isabel immediately began giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Damn, she was really getting into that kiss. The onlookers stood there, stunned. I felt like the biggest fool, a whirlwind of emotions churning inside me. 10 minutes later, the ambulance arrived. Isabel carefully helped Ethan into the vehicle. With my injured knee, I limped over to get in as well. Isabel shot me a disdainful look. "Stop being so dramatic. You need an ambulance for a little scratch like that? Don't waste time that Ethan needs for emergency treatment." And then she kicked me out of the ambulance. I had to laugh as I watched the ambulance speed away. Ethan Blackwood was a repulsive snake who bites the hand that feeds it. "Isabel Turner, you saved him. You'll live to regret this." I took a taxi to the hospital myself to get my injury treated. I heard that Ethan was out of danger. Any later, and the outcome might have been dire. Now he was affectionately holding Isabel's hand. "I almost died. Thank God you saved me. If you'll have me, I'd like to be your boyfriend." Isabel looked completely smitten, unwilling to let him go. "Sweetie, as long as you're okay, are you hungry? Do you want something to eat?" Ethan nodded obediently. "Anything is fine." Isabel reluctantly let go of him and went out to buy food. And that's when she ran right into me, eavesdropping. She had been all flirty with another man, showing no guilt whatsoever. She didn't even care about my leg injury. "Great, this was heading for a breakup," I said with a stony face. "We need to talk." Chapter 04. There's nothing to talk about with a cold-blooded man like you. Don't think I don't know. You faked that fall on purpose. You just didn't want to risk your own neck to save Ethan. Cowardly and selfish. "You're disgusting." Isabel bombarded me with accusations, leaving me stunned. Okay, she could think whatever she wanted. I cut straight to the chase with 2 words: "We're done." Isabel was ecstatic, looking like she'd just won the lottery. I knew what the fool was thinking. She had saved Ethan Blackwood and finally caught her heartthrob's attention. Of course, she wanted to dump me as quickly as possible to be with him. But she had no idea that Ethan's heart belonged to someone else. His whole stunt was just to win back his ex-girlfriend. The way he was suddenly acting all sweet with Isabel was definitely suspicious. I couldn't wait to watch their little drama unfold. After Ethan and Isabel made their relationship official, they became the talk of the campus. Wow, they're truly a match made in heaven. Saving his life like that, how could he not be moved? What a power couple. I'm totally shipping them on a small path. Isabel was walking hand in hand with Ethan. They both looked blissfully happy. In an awkward twist of fate, we ran right into each other. Isabel shot me a smug look, practically glowing with superiority. Her expression screamed, "Look at my new boyfriend." All I could think was, what a pain. I rolled my eyes dramatically and turned to walk away. Just then, Ethan suddenly collapsed. Isabel panicked and rushed him to the hospital. It turned out Ethan's lung condition had flared up again. His lungs had been severely damaged from the drowning incident. Later that afternoon, when I went to the hospital to get my dressing changed, I happened to overhear Ethan on the phone with his ex-girlfriend. "I jumped in the river, and you didn't come to see me. I'm sick, and you still won't visit me. I have a new girlfriend, and you still don't care. Are you really done with me for good?" The person on the other end was silent for a moment, then burst out shouting, "You're so annoying. Can you just stop with the drama? I am never, ever getting back together with you." Ethan's chest heaved with anger. "Fine, don't you regret it?" He slammed his phone on the ground. It all clicked into place for me, and I trembled with excitement. So Ethan was using reverse psychology to win back his ex, and Isabel, the big sucker, was still completely in the dark. I hid by the door, thoroughly enjoying the eavesdropping. Just then Isabel returned with the medicine and shoved me aside rudely. "What are you doing here, haunting us? Are you planning to do something to Ethan?" Chapter 05. I tried to hold back my laughter, I really did, but it was a struggle. "I'm here to witness your happiness. I hope you and Ethan Blackwood have a wonderful life together," Isabel said smugly. "You don't need to tell me that." "Wahahaha." I hope you enjoy being the fool." Ethan's lung condition was quite serious. Isabel was running around, stressed out, trying to raise money for his medical bills. In the end, she actually came to me to borrow money. I wouldn't be asking you if I weren't truly desperate. In my circle of friends, you're the only rich person. Sincere, can you please help me? I tilted my head back haughtily. No, Isabel dropped to her knees with a thud. She looked at me pitifully, tears streaming down her face. Even though we broke up, we can still be friends, right? I'm begging you, for the sake of our 4 years together. My skin crawled, and my head was buzzing. Truly, shameless people know no bounds. Shut up, fine. I'll lend it to you, okay? She quickly wiped her tears and forced a smile. But I'm going to charge interest. The interest rate I proposed left Isabel stunned. Even loan sharks aren't as greedy as you, then go borrow from a loan shark. Why are you bitching to me? Isabel's face turned red with anger and she stormed out, slamming the door. A few days later, I heard she had started pulling all-nighters to paint. She was an art student and usually made money by selling her paintings. She thought she was some kind of genius painter. In reality, no one was willing to buy her art. I used to be the one hiring people to buy her paintings. Now that I've stopped, let's see who's going to buy her work. A few days later, I was having afternoon tea with my best friend, Leo Johnson. Isabel stormed into the cafe in a rage. She picked up a cup of scalding coffee and threw it in my face. Sincere, you a damn jerk or what? Just because we broke up, you have to do this to me. What right do you have to get me blacklisted by the entire industry? Chapter 06. I hissed in pain from the hot coffee. I was both furious and amused. So she thought the reason she couldn't sell her paintings was because I had blacklisted her? My best friend Leo was enraged and stood up for me. Who let this dog in here barking like this? What does it have to do with Sincere if you can't sell your art? All the paintings you sold before were bought by people he hired. Did you really think you were the next Da Vinci? Isabel looked as if she had been struck by lightning, standing there completely stunned for a long time. It was a huge blow, one that would be hard for anyone to accept. Her eyes welled up and she looked like she was about to cry. Why would you do that? To protect your fragile ego, of course. I had silently supported her dream for 4 years. But in the end, all I got in return was her betrayal. Thinking about it now, I was a complete idiot. Instead of being grateful, Isabel lashed out at me. Who needs your charity? I don't care about your self-righteous sacrifices. This ungrateful wretch actually made me laugh. Then give me back the money from all the paintings you sold, and you're going to pay my medical bills for this burn. Isabel looked mortified, grinding her teeth. She was desperate for money. Making her pay it back was like asking for her life. Leo grabbed her wrist, looking like he was ready to tear her apart. Pay up or I'm calling the cops. Under Leo's relentless pressure, she paid for the medical bills and fled. She was lucky she ran fast. Otherwise, I would have sued her for everything she was worth. Leo felt sorry for me and introduced me to a beautiful girl from campus. This girl, Victoria Ainsworth, was much gentler and cuter than Isabel. She was also smarter and came from a wealthier family. On top of that, she was a famous painter. A few days later, I went to an art exhibition with my new girlfriend, and there we ran into Isabel trying to hawk her paintings. Isabel was getting rejected left and right, even getting into heated arguments. What is this supposed to be? Exactly, it doesn't look like a chicken or a duck. What do you people know? This is art, a bunch of blind fools. Right, it's always everyone else who doesn't appreciate her. The truth was, her paintings really weren't that good. Only the old me was willing to praise her skills so ridiculously. Isabel tried for a long time but didn't sell a single painting. Her disappointment was palpable. Victoria and I were walking hand in hand when we bumped into her. Isabel saw me and shot me a dirty look. Well, you rebounded pretty quickly. Chapter 07. Victoria, holding my arm, let out a cold laugh. So you're Sincere's ex-girlfriend? Sincere used to have such terrible taste. That really got to Isabel. Who do you think you are, talking to me like that? You're probably just with him for his money too. Victoria casually pointed to a piece in the exhibition. See that? That's my work. This whole exhibition, I organized it. Do I look like I need to cling to a man for money? When Isabel saw the signature on the painting, her expression was priceless. Because Victoria Ainsworth was her idol, the painter she admired most. She had once vowed to become the next Victoria Ainsworth in the art world. And now, meeting her idol was this embarrassing. Ha ha ha, that was a satisfying takedown. Victoria wrapped her arm tighter around my shoulders, looking very affectionate. "Not only do you know nothing about art," she said, "you also know nothing about men. You're completely blind." Isabel was scolded like a schoolgirl. She wanted to retort but couldn't find the words, so she grabbed her pathetic paintings and fled in humiliation. But this was only the beginning of her nightmare. To pay for Ethan's medical bills, Isabel started doing portrait sketches on the street. When I saw her, she was being yelled at by a customer. "What is this garbage you've drawn? Am I that fat? Can't you draw properly?" "No, ma'am, I already tried to make you look better." "Is that a person or a pig? What are you trying to say?" The large woman was so angry she smashed Isabel's stall. They got into a huge fight, attracting the city officers. Isabel tried to play the victim, but the officer just gave her a warning. "No street vending allowed here. That'll be a $500 fine." She didn't earn a single cent from her stall and ended up having to pay a fine. Even so, she gritted her teeth and carried on. I'd call her the biggest simp in history. She had no idea that Ethan was squandering her hard-earned money. This pure and innocent campus idol was out clubbing every night. His friends were all a bunch of delinquents. "Ethan, are you still dating that Isabel girl?" "Yeah, still am. She actually thinks I like her." Ethan smoked a cigarette with practiced ease. No coughing, no signs of discomfort. He didn't look like someone with a lung disease at all. Ethan took a drag and sneered. "That massive simp is nothing but my personal ATM. Does she really think I'd ever be interested in her?" His friends all praised him, calling him a genius. I pulled out my phone, wanting to record the scene. I wanted Isabel to see her prince for who he really was. But on second thought, that wasn't enough. Those two scumbags got me killed in my past life. I couldn't let them off so easily. I wanted Isabel to witness the truth with her own eyes. Chapter 08. Half a month had passed, and Isabel still hadn't raised enough money for the medical bills. I had a friend give her a terrible idea. Working as a hostess at a nightclub could earn her more money. The fool still wanted to save herself for Ethan. But my friend told her she could just be a companion for drinks, no funny business. Isabel gritted her teeth and agreed. On her first night of work, she landed a big client. She thought her luck had finally turned, but when she pushed open the door, she saw a familiar face. Ethan was surrounded by a crowd of hostesses. Isabel's eyes widened, staring straight at him. The man who was supposed to be in the hospital was here, in a nightclub. Ethan looked away in a panic. Isabel advanced on him, step by step, her eyes looking like they were about to bleed. "You're using my money to pay for other girls? You have the nerve to say that? You're working as a hostess?" Ethan stood up, turning the tables on her. Isabel's shoulders trembled with rage. "You know exactly why I'm working as a hostess. How could you betray me like this?" Watching the live feed from the security camera, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. This is the fate every simp deserves. Ethan, wincing as she gripped his arm, violently shook her off. "Well, you shouldn't have gone behind my back to become a hostess. Neither of us has the right to judge the other with that." He tried to flee the scene. Isabel chased after him, grabbing him and refusing to let go. "Were you just using me as a sucker? How did I never see what a jerk you are before? Give me a reasonable explanation." The people around them were too scared to say anything, let alone intervene. Ethan's eyes rolled back in his head, and he collapsed. This trick of faking illness never failed him. Isabel was terrified and immediately rushed him to the hospital. "Ethan, you have to be okay. I was wrong. I shouldn't have yelled at you." I heard that Ethan and Isabel made up. Ethan apologized, and Isabel forgave him. They were as close as ever, their relationship seemingly stronger than before. The logic of a simp is truly bizarre. To pay for Ethan's treatment, Isabel worked even harder to earn money. Ethan lied, claiming he needed lung surgery that would cost $300,000. With no other options, Isabel came to me again. She knelt before me, her eyes swollen like walnuts from crying. "Sincere, I can't just stand by and watch him die. I'll consider this a loan. I'll pay you back double in the future. I'm begging you, please, will you help me?" I didn't react, so she started banging her head on the floor. A crowd of onlookers gathered, making the situation incredibly awkward for me. "Isabel, can you please get up? Not unless you agree." "Fine, you want to play dirty with me? Well, I'm not going to give you what you want." I sat down cross-legged on the ground right in front of her. Isabel looked at me with teary eyes, as if I were her last hope. "Sincere, I'm really out of options. Ethan is just scamming you for your money. How can you be so naive? Wake up, please." She shook her head, a hint of disdain in her eyes. You don't need to stir up trouble between us. Ethan can be a bit impulsive, but he's a kind man. I was speechless. Chapter 09. Kind my ass. It's all an act. I seriously wonder if she has a brain. Isabel seemed to be losing her patience. Are you going to lend me the money or not? I was losing my patience too. He's using you as an ATM. Isabel quickly scrambled to her feet. If you're not going to lend it, then don't. But don't you dare slander Ethan, you cold-blooded, ruthless man. I was wrong about you. I'll figure out the money myself. I won't bother you anymore. I was shocked. Me, cold-blooded and ruthless? Fine, fine. I shouldn't have meddled. Even if Isabel gets sucked dry, she brought it on herself. I'll just wait for the day she regrets it. Isabel started selling her blood to support Ethan's treatment. Within days, she looked as pale as a dying patient, but she was still far from the 300,000 goal, and Ethan's supposed surgery date was fast approaching. With no other choice, she turned to loan sharks. Isabel barely rested, delivering food whenever she had a spare moment. She probably thought she was so devoted and noble. Meanwhile, Ethan was spending lavishly, buying designer brands without a second thought. One day I was shopping at a luxury store with Victoria. Ethan saw us and, without warning, punched me in the face. My cheeks stung with a fiery pain. Are you crazy? What did you hit me for? I'm hitting you, you shameless homewrecker. Ethan glared at me with fury, ready to strike again. Victoria quickly stepped in front of me to protect me. Ethan Blackwood, if you've got a problem with your brain, go see a doctor. We broke up. Stop harassing me. OMG, it's a small world. So Victoria was Ethan Blackwood's ex-girlfriend. I said angrily, you're the damn homewrecker. Victoria held me close, afraid I would get hurt. Ethan was acting like a lunatic. You ignore me, you block me. It's all because of him, isn't it? What does Sincere have that I don't? The contempt in Victoria's eyes was undisguised. She looked at Ethan as if he were a bug in a latrine. Sincere is my boyfriend, not a homewrecker. He's a million times better than a scumbag like you. If you dare to slander him again, don't blame me for what happens next. I shot Ethan a defiant look, raising my eyebrows. He looked like he was about to explode with rage, his fists clenched so tight they cracked. Victoria protected me like a mother hen protecting her chick. If you're going to have a meltdown, go to a psychiatric hospital. Don't embarrass yourself here. What are you talking about? I'm not finished with you two. Victoria tried to pull me away, not wanting to deal with him. But Ethan was relentless, refusing to let us leave. Ethan, what are you doing? Isabel suddenly appeared. She was still wearing her food delivery uniform. She was grimy and smelled of sour sweat. The color drained from Ethan's face instantly. Isabel asked nervously, did they bully you? Victoria scanned them both with a scornful look. You must be Ethan's new girlfriend, right? Girl, are you blind? You dumped Sincere for this scumbag? Chapter 10. I stood tall like a proud fighting cock. Victoria always knew how to make me look good. Isabel was furious. Ethan is not a scumbag. Ethan panicked and tried to pull Isabel away. But Victoria was determined to stab him where it hurts. What are you running for? Afraid I'll tell her everything? You are a scumbag. You scam people for money everywhere you go. Isabel stopped in her tracks and whipped her head around. Her eyes were filled with terrifying bloodshot veins. If you say one more word, I won't be so polite. Victoria decided to lay it all out. Ethan Blackwood is a scumbag. He scammed me out of millions. One minute he'd say he had cancer, the next he was talking about some investment. He was constantly asking me for money, treating me like an idiot. When Isabel heard the word cancer, she suddenly seemed to snap out of her delusion. I added with conviction, he loves to fake being sick. Ethan's face grew paler and paler. The more he tried to hide his panic, the more his guilt showed. Isabel demanded that Ethan show her his medical records. Your lung disease diagnosis. Let me see it again. But Ethan hesitated, refusing to produce it. After all that bluffing, he finally got caught. Isabel looked instantly heartbroken. A small smile played on Victoria's lips as she delivered the final blow. Do you know why he jumped into the river? It was a self-pity act, all for my benefit. But I couldn't care less whether he lives or dies. Only a fool like Isabel would think he was suffering from depression. Even getting together with Isabel was just part of his reverse psychology. And on top of that, she was a free ATM. The brutal truths were laid out before Isabel, one by one. She finally broke down, her voice hoarse with accusation. So you never loved me. You were just using me. Ethan Blackwood, you've deceived me so cruelly. Ethan wanted to argue, but he couldn't utter a single word. He turned and ran, with Isabel chasing furiously behind him. Victoria nudged me with her shoulder and gave me a playful wink. So, how does that feel? Pretty satisfying, right? Hee, my wifey is the best. Meanwhile, Isabel's life had descended into hell. The loan she took out was snowballing. The loan sharks demanded their money, so she could only try to get it back from Ethan. Someone saw them fighting violently on the street. Isabel blocked Ethan, who was dressed head to toe in designer clothes. If you don't pay me back, they're going to cut off my hand. What's that got to do with me? You gave me that money willingly. Victoria was absolutely right. Ethan was obsessed with money, and it was a one-way street. Isabel looked at Ethan in disbelief. The pure, wonderful man she had idolized was really like this. So you're going to be shameless about it? You think I won't call the police? Go ahead, call the police. Let's see who they side with. He had reason to be confident. Money given willingly couldn't be recovered, even through a lawsuit. Isabel had no choice but to swallow this bitter pill. You bastard, do you have any conscience? After everything I've done for you, what was it all for? Ethan looked at her with utter annoyance. It was for you being an idiot. Did I force you to do anything? You were the one simping for me like a dog. Chapter 11. Isabel brought all of this on herself. I warned her that Ethan was no good. This is what happens when you don't listen. Isabel exploded with rage and lunged at him. Ethan pulled out his phone and started recording her face. Isabel Turner, you dare hit me? Assault is illegal. Do you want to go to jail? Later, the debt collectors found Isabel. Ethan ran faster than a rabbit and vanished without a trace. Isabel was left to face the vicious creditors alone. She smiled nervously, her legs trembling. I'll definitely pay you back. Just give me a little more time. Cut the crap, we've given you enough time. If you don't pay up, I'll beat you to death. Isabel swore she would pay them back. The creditors gave her 1 more month. I didn't believe for a second she could pay it off. With no other choice, she came back to me. So annoying. How many times has it been now? On my way home, Isabel blocked my path. She had drawn many portraits of me and presented them to me as if they were treasures. Babe, look. Don't you think this looks just like you? Her pathetic, fawning smile disgusted me. We first met in a beautiful park. I was there for a photography project and she was painting by the lake. She drew a picture of me, and I was incredibly moved. After that, we naturally started dating. What's this, trying to play the sentiment card? What is this garbage you've drawn? Is it supposed to be a pig that's come to life? I sneered, took her drawings and tore them to shreds. The light in Isabel's tear-filled eyes shattered. Babe, I'm so sorry for how I treated you before. I realize now that you were the only one who was ever truly good to me. Can you give me another chance to get back together? I didn't want to hear another word she had to say. I threw her shredded drawings into the trash. Your art is cheap, and so is your love. Now please, get the hell out of my life. But Isabel clung to me like a leech, refusing to leave. Sincere, I still have feelings for you. I dream about you all the time. I'll die without you. Her acting was superb, tears streaming down her face. I just found this whole act even more pathetic. Then how did you treat me? In my past life, Ethan Blackwood got me killed. You didn't fight for justice for me. You even defended him. That was something I would never forgive her for. Isabel thought hard for a moment and finally remembered. No wonder you didn't save Ethan this time. And I mistakenly thought you were being cold-blooded and ruthless. I looked at Isabel with utter disgust. What right do you have to ask for a second chance? You and that scumbag Ethan deserve each other. She was stunned by my words. Her expression was one of complete and utter shock. I turned and walked away, never wanting to see her again in this lifetime. Isabel cried out behind me. Sincere, I didn't look back, but I left her with one final sentence. Let's never see each other again. Chapter 12. Late at night, Isabel's calls came one after another, like a summons from the Grim Reaper. I was about to hang up when Victoria snatched the phone and answered. Isabel seemed to be drunk, her words slurring. Babe, I really miss you so much. I was possessed before. I can't believe I didn't cherish you. I'm in so much pain. I feel like my heart is dying. I felt a wave of nausea, almost bringing up my dinner. Victoria sneered. You just don't give up, do you? Isabel bristled like a cornered porcupine. Victoria Ainsworth? Why are you answering his phone? Are you with Sincere this late at night? Victoria's breathing was slightly heavy, making it obvious what we had been doing. Sincere and I were sleeping soundly. Why are you up so late, having a meltdown? Isabel started screaming into the phone. Don't touch him, I'm warning you. Don't you dare touch him. He's my boyfriend. Don't you dare try to come between us. Victoria retorted impatiently. Does anyone not see through your little act? You're just after Sincere's money to help you pay off your debts. You're a truly pathetic human being. Isabel, ever stubborn, was still trying to argue. Shut up, I really do still have feelings for him. Put him on the phone. I want to talk to him. I snatched the phone and yelled, Are you insane? We're broken up. If you call and harass me again, I'm calling the police. She was silent for a moment, then broke down into painful sobs. Oh my God, she sounded like a screaming marmot. My eardrums were about to burst, so I hung up the phone and blocked her number. Victoria pinched me hard. What was that for? Can't you tell I'm jealous? I smiled and ruffled her hair. Then how about your hubby makes it up to you? After his scam was exposed, Ethan Blackwood disappeared. Isabel looked everywhere but couldn't find him. She had to figure out how to pay back the loan sharks on her own. To raise the money, she sold her family home, but she was still short $230,000. In desperation, she jumped into a river. A kind citizen called for an ambulance, and she was rescued in time. The loan shark warned her that if she tried anything funny again, he would go after her parents. Isabel wanted to die but was too afraid. She finally understood what it meant to be in a living hell, until she found Ethan Blackwood. Ethan was decked out in designer gear, having found himself a new sugar mama. Isabel's eyes turned red, and she lunged at him. You bastard, you've ruined my life. Because of you, I've lost my money and my boyfriend. Ethan's face turned red as she choked him. Are you trying to kill me in public? I wish I could cut you into 1,000 pieces seeing the commotion. The rich woman quickly left. Ethan's meal ticket had flown away, making him even more furious. Get off me, Isabel. Are you crazy? Help Murder Chapter 13. The mall security guards quickly restrained Isabel. She stared at Ethan with defiance, her screams echoing through the mall. I saved your life, and this is how you repay my kindness? In my past life, Ethan repaid my kindness with cruelty. Isabel had acted like it was none of her business, even saying it was my own bad luck. Now it was finally her turn to taste that bitterness. A crowd of onlookers gathered around them. Ethan shamelessly retorted, Just because you saved me, I have to be with you. Isn't that just guilt-tripping? When it comes to twisting the truth, you had to hand it to his lordship Ethan. The onlookers began to condemn Isabel's behavior. Isabel roared, Ethan Blackwood, I'm going to kill you. Ethan fled, booking a flight out of the city that very night. But when death comes for you, there's no escape. That night, Isabel disguised herself as a taxi driver. As soon as Ethan got in the car, she hijacked him and drove to the suburbs. According to the security footage later, Isabel had gone insane. She was holding a chainsaw, advancing on Ethan step by step. With no way to escape, Ethan could only beg for his life. I'll pay you back, okay? Just don't kill me. He took off his designer watch and handed it to her, along with the bank cards in his wallet. But the murderous intent in Isabel's eyes didn't fade. Ethan's face was pale as he desperately backed away. I gave you all the money. What else do you want? You deceived me emotionally. How do we settle that score? Whatever you want, I can give it to you. Good. Then I want your life. Ethan was so scared he wet his pants. Isabel was like a demon, a chilling smile on her face. I couldn't bring myself to watch the rest of the footage. I could only hear the sound of the chainsaw and a man's screams. When the police arrived at the scene, even they were sick to their stomachs. The gruesome sight left even veteran detectives with psychological trauma. However, they couldn't find the culprit, because at that moment Isabel was standing below my apartment building. I opened the window and froze, the hair on my arms standing on end. Isabel was covered in dark red blood. She looked at me with tears in her eyes, holding up a painting. It was a painting of our wedding, a scene we had once imagined together. By a small river, with colorful balloons and a sea of roses, Isabel and I holding hands walking down the red carpet. Babe, what do you think of this painting? Let's get back together. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. The sound of police sirens grew closer in the distance. I looked at her sternly, as if she were a stranger. You're not going to have a rest of your life. Next time, try not to be such a terrible person. In that instant, all hope drained from Isabel's face. She stood motionless. When the police took her away, she was unusually calm. Before getting into the police car, she turned to look at me one last time. I thought I saw a deep, painful regret in her eyes, but regret was useless. She had brought all of this upon herself, and this ending was a fitting one for her. Later, Isabel Turner was found guilty of intentional homicide and sentenced to death. Initially, she was diagnosed with a mental illness. If she had appealed, she might have escaped the death penalty, but it seemed she had lost the will to live and did not appeal. As for Ethan Blackwood's gruesome death, even his parents refused to claim his body. The elderly couple said they had no son with such a depraved character. All the ugliness was finally over. The following spring, Victoria and I got married. The scene was just as I had once imagined it, by a small river with colorful balloons and a sea of roses. Victoria, in her wedding dress, had a smile warmer than the sun. Victoria and I held hands and walked down the red carpet, and from then on, we lived a life of blissful happiness. The end.